guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing an unboxing. So let's get started. Let me zoom out first though, because this is a bit of a big box. There we go. So Arteza reached out to me recently and I'm super excited to check all this out. So without further ado, let's get right down to it. As soon as I find something to open this with. I shall use this pen. Sometimes you just gotta go with whatever you find, because I'm too impatient and don't feel like finding a box cutter. Sometimes I use my keys, sometimes I just use my bare hands. All I'm saying is do what works for you. And here we are. Right off the bat, we've got Arteza 48 count TwiMarkers? Not entirely too sure, but basically they're just water-based markers with a brush tip and a fine tip. So I'm really excited to check that out. And they're blendable, they're nice and compact, ideal for watercolor techniques and journaling, which is good to know. And then we have Arteza's 48 count these names. Inkonic pens? Inkonic pens? Yeah. Anyways, they're premium, and basically what these are the fineliners that come in 48 colors, again water-based ink, and then a 14 sheets of watercolor paper, 100% cotton, mold made, cold press, double-sided, acid-free, glue bound, ideal for watercolor techniques and mixed media. And I'm so excited to be making something with this product. Oh look, you can see my ring light. Ha. Anyways, let's open it up. Oh, that's cool. It's not like the lid just doesn't completely come off. It's just you know, like that kind of a lid that goes back and forth. And I really like that because I'm always losing my lids. I'm always losing everything, to be honest. Look at this color. All of them are fineliners. I'm just gonna pull a color out. This is not dual-ended. It's just one end. Arteza Inkonic 0.4 for the size of the fineliner. And then a color number A184. It's got a color end on this side, colored cap on the other. Let's take it off. And we've got our little fine line nib. Sweet. Oh, and the other cool thing is, look at this. It's got like the little finger holes so that you can easily like pull this up, because there's a whole nother set of colors underneath. That's cool. Is there another set underneath that? Nope. I don't know why I thought there would be. And then we've got our Arteza TwiMarkers. I can't open it. That's why we have our handy dandy pen. Easy enough. They're a lot thinner than I thought they would be. They almost look like gel pens. So basically we've got a brush nib on one side, and it's very petite brush nib, and then a fine liner on the other side. So we've got here my yellows, oranges, a few pinks, a few more pinks, going into my purples, a few reds in between, and then going into our purples, our greens and blues on the next one, and our darker colors basically of each one. We've got, you know, just a darker blue, darker purple, darker green, browns, black, I believe. And then our paper. I'm gonna open this up. I like how they take great care with keeping this as stiff as possible so that you don't get bent paper. And here's our paper. Ooh, I like it. Definitely, oh wow, definitely thick. I love that. Let's go ahead and create something with all this. Okay, so I went ahead and did some color swatching. I didn't do the whole pack, I just did the colors that I knew called out to me and I really wanted to work with. So this is kind of like the colors I went with for my color scheme. I made some thumbnails really fast. Didn't really care for this one too much. So the first one I was gonna do like this girl kind of floating in space, I guess you could say. And she's gonna have this crazy green hair just going everywhere. But I'm gonna shy away from that one because this is more like testing out the markers. As you know, I work mostly with alcohol markers. So water-based markers to me can be slightly trickier. So I wanted to do a portrait. I figured I'd make the focus her hair and just really zone in on the colors and how well they work together, as well as just the techniques that can be used. So without further ado, I went ahead and did my sketch. Sometimes some people do lines first. In this case, I'm not gonna do lines. I'm gonna leave lines for last because I think I'll get a better effect that way. And so I'm going to start out with her hair. I'm using the darkest color for her hair first, which is kind of something that I don't usually do. I sometimes do the lightest color first and I color it all in. But for me, I feel like with water-based markers, it's a better idea to start out dark and fill in negatively. And I love this brush effect that I'm getting right off the bat. I mean, it's like I'm literally leaving paintbrush strokes. I love that. I was having a lot of trouble before with other products and trying to figure out how do I color with water-based markers when they eat up the paper? And I think the answer is this expert level watercolor paper. I don't even know how many times I went over this. I used 3 different markers and I'm not really dealing with too much paper being eaten up or streaking, in the sense of like when the color overlaps on itself, it gets more opaque and it starts just, you can't get it to be one solid color. So I'm very surprised at the minimal amount of effects of that. And so some of my hair streaks are a little harsh, so I'm just going over and I'm literally just blending it out. I don't think I've ever been so satisfied with the end result of hair like this. I'm almost nervous to continue because I don't want to mess up, but we must continue. I will say though that after a bit of use, there is some fraying to the brush nib, so that's slightly disappointing. So I have this coral color and they don't exactly have skin tones in this pack, but I found with this coral color I can get a bit of a peachy kind of skin tone color when I water it down and use it with my Pentel water brush. Okay, so I pretty much have most of it done almost. I'm gonna go ahead and start using the Inkonic pens that they sent me, the Fineliners, in order to detail and completely sort of flesh it out. So I think what's bothering me the most is the eyes. I really just am feeling the need to go ahead and start inking them in and giving them some proper line art. I want to appreciate this so bad, but I won't until I see some lines. And just like that, the anxiety is relieved. There's actually something really satisfying about adding in the lines after, because you spend the entire time just kind of silently freaking out. At least I did over this. But now that I'm adding in the line art, I'm just like, oh, okay, I can relax now. I can, actually see this coming together and not failing, and I'm calm. I think what I'm having the most fun with is that these fine liners come in like so many colors that I did use black, but there are a lot of other colors that I could use to line, which kind of makes the line art more natural. She doesn't look very bolded in and too 2D because of it. And I really like that I can just go ahead and, you know, right now I'm outlining her hair in this dark bluish green color, and it kind of looks like black, but when you're looking at it close up, you can kind of see that nice subtle difference, and I really like that. I think that's really cool. So I really like this product. I am super amazed as far as my experience goes. I've never had quite a good experience with water-based markers, but with this I just felt extremely comfortable enough to just go ahead and use the marker as is, you know, with the hair, with her eyes, with her lips, and just a lot of the things that I painted with her. And that was a really good experience. And I think it wasn't just the markers alone. Honestly, the paper helped out a lot. And I think it's so important when you're working with water-based markers to make sure you are working with appropriate paper. In this case, this is the Arteza Water Pad paper Expert, and that I believe helped out a lot with blending and with making sure the ink didn't eat up at the paper. And I'm just very satisfied with how this came out. So if you're looking for water-based markers, I definitely recommend Arteza. Check them out. Of course, the cons that I did have, the brush nibs, whoops, opened up this marker and the cap went like flying. Anyways, but with the brush markers, the brush nib does tend to fray after strenuous use, and I wasn't too crazy about this fineliner tip. The fineliner tip on the dual-ended marker is 0.4, and it's funny because the Inkonic pens are also 0.4. And I found them to be much better. The fineliner on the dual-ended markers just didn't feel as nice. It felt much more scratchy, and I couldn't really get it to work the way that I would have liked. Whereas the Inkonic pen just had a better feel to it. It had a better lay down. So that's definitely one thing I really enjoyed about these Arteza ink pens. And the TwiMarkers cost $38.99. The Inkonic Fineliner pens are $25.99, and the watercolor pad is $25.99 as well on the arteza.com website. The links below in the description are affiliate links, which simply mean that I do make a small commission at no cost to you. And that's that. So if you enjoyed this video, maybe comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.